What's up, guys? Thank you, as always, for hitting this video. 3 quick things. Number 1, if you're not already subscribed, please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. 2, if you would like to see early ad-free releases of our episodes on Patreon, you can join Ooze Control via the link in the description below. And number 3, if you'd like to check out previous episodes of the podcast, that playlist is also listed down below. Now relax, enjoy.
The world is a business, Mr. Beale. It has been since man fell out of the slime.
I'm gonna sound like that old man, but video games just aren't the same anymore, man. Like back then, like you loaded up Mario 64 and it's like, oh, you can read all these like help cards that are randomly scattered throughout the place, and you never read them because why would you ever do that? And the font they use, you can barely even read it. And I feel like games in that era was like, no, like you just gotta figure it out. And maybe if you have a computer and have internet access, you can find some forum where somebody tells you how to do it. But other than that, like you're on your own.
The internet wasn't the place to find things. It was look in the manual.
The strategy guides.
Strategy guide. The official strategy guides.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I never actually looked in the manual ever for anything. I was just like, who cares about the box? Get the game in there. But I do remember walking around with my, the good days. Had my teal Game Boy SP in my pocket, a copy of Pokemon Sapphire, and I had a little pocket guide for that game in my back pocket, like at all times. And
that's pretty rad.
Man, like I really want my kids to have that moment so badly.
I went to a retro video game store the other day, and I was walking through the aisles, and on the end cap of one of the cabinets where all like the old games are, there was an original Nintendo Power fold-out poster from when Ocarina of Time first came out, and I like just froze. I rarely see something where I'm like, I want to steal this, but like those thoughts were going in my head. It's like I used to have this exact same poster, and like I'm so mad wherever it went or whatever I did with it, I regret that. But yeah, it's still there. It's like a relic. I was like, you guys should frame this. Like, this is
like,
cool.
More respect. That's what you need.
Yeah, come on.
No, it's interesting, actually. Jamie, like, he doesn't actually have a ton of interest in video games. Like, every now and then, like, he'll play like Minecraft, but, like, I'll, like, throw, like, Star Fox 64 or just some other game on the big TV, and I'll be playing it, and he's just like, like, it's fun to watch, but I don't want to play it. But yeah. Charlie, she started playing the Switch a lot, and she's working her way through the Incredibles the Lego game.
Mm-hmm.
And man, like she keeps like restarting her profile over and over again some days. But like sometimes she'll come up and
from Harrison.
Yeah, I know, right? But it's funny. She'll like come up and hand me the Switch. She'll be like, "Hey, I don't know what to do here," and I'll pick it up. I'm like, "Girl, you're like way far. Like you got over all of these other problems. Like it's impressive."
When the most recent Zelda game came out, the Tears of the Kingdom, Hawkins was 4, and I was working like crunch time on a video game at the time for work, and it was one of those like, we got this new game, and it was like, Dad's going to like come over and actually play this with us, you know? And so we were all sitting down playing it, and Hawkins was like, I want to play. And I was like, okay. So I handed him the controller at the very beginning of the game. And it's like, got to teach you the mechanics. So it's like, how do you run? How do you swing your sword? But it's like, you know, like you got to traverse down into the depths of this cavern to do it. And then it's like, now dive off this cliff and swim over to the edge. Do that 3 different times at different heights. Then leap off and go into the cinematic cutscene. And it's not like easy to do, but he like managed to do it as a 4-year-old. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And I told my coworker, who's like, is this guy that's been making video games forever. Like he worked on like Star Wars for the Super Nintendo, you know, stuff like that. And he was like, wait, how old is he? Like, that's nonsense. Like, you're lying to me. He did not do that. And I was like, I was right here, man. I was right here.
That's Hereditary, though. That's because you
yeah.
played it so much, Scott. Major head start.
Yeah, definitely. Zelda was in my sperm. That's for sure. You heard it here first.
Oh my gosh. No, man. We'll let the audience imagine when that sound happened. Back in the day, I don't know. I feel like video games were just like, yeah, it's complicated, but you'll figure it out.
So you weren't whipping out your Uber Micro when you were in elementary school?
I don't even know what an Uber Micro is. I don't even know what that is.
We didn't get to that level of nerdy.
Yeah.
Let's just leave that one hanging then.
Yeah, like 4 people of our audience would be like, yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, Uber. Oh, no one else knows what Uber Micro is? Dang it.
What?
At least someone will be my friend, though. They won't be your guys' friends, but they'll be my friend. I'll have
There
the
you
nerdy
go.
friends. You guys can keep the cool friends.
I have a bit of movie news I'd like to share with
yeah.
you guys. And no, don't worry. It's not about a celebrity passing away. That is the
Even
hot topic
dude,
lately.
I was gonna bring that up. We're losing a lot of good ones lately. It's rough.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot. And like within like 2 weeks, it feels like.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, what is it? Well, here, we're talking about, might as well go. We got James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek. That one hit me, because me and
Yeah.
Nicole watched that show and just
Yeah.
laughed at it the whole time. We got Catherine O'Hara. That one legitimately hurt. Like, that
Yeah.
one was like, oh!
Yeah.
And then, Robert Duvall was
Yeah,
the other,
Robert Duvall.
like, big one that passed away recently.
And we can't forget about Robert Redford.
Yep, Robert Redford.
Did you see Tom Noonan passed away? Let me look up his name.
Yeah, that's the bad guy in The Mask. Is that him?
Oh,
I
that's
think
a
of someone
different
else.
guy. That's no, actually, we're getting Gone Too Soon celebrities mixed up. But yes.
Oh.
So let me look up that guy's name. Tom Noonan is in RoboCop. He's in that. I know that for sure.
Oh, but the one I'm talking about is Peter Green. He passed away.
Peter Green. I just saw something about it was an accidental firearm that went off like in his armpit. Some like freak accident. That
Dang.
sucks. Yeah, I hate hearing that. And there's probably some more that were not. Oh, there was an animator that worked on like a bunch of classic films. I can't remember.
Every
Right,
animated film I love.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Really
pretty
sad.
much.
Worked alongside the good old Bluth.
Yep. Oh, that's right.
So, what is there a celebrity death for you guys that like? No, that one hurt, and I remember it. I remember when that happened.
Robin Williams for me.
Yep,
That's
that
the
was
first one that comes to mind.
that's the
Man.
first one I thought of that I was like, dude, I can't even handle that. That one hurt.
Yeah,
pretty
that
bad.
was not- that was
When
not a good fit.
Dumbledore died on page 823, that was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Not when it happened, but kind of retroactively. Heath Ledger. That one hurt. Like,
Oh, yeah.
when it happened, I was like, whoa, that stinks. And then, like, 10 years later, I was watching A Knight's Tale, and I was like, damn, this guy's dead. That really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably some we're really forgetting about that we're probably going to feel bad about later, but okay, so back to the news before we got sidetracked on that depressing story. This just in. Canceled. TMNT The Last Ronin. It's no longer happening.
yeah.
Official?
Yep. Unfortunately, Paramount recently opted to veer in a different, more family-friendly direction with the TMNT franchise, looking to the Sonic the Hedgehog movies as inspiration. The studio is currently developing a new live-action reboot alongside the animated sequel, Mutant Mayhem 2, the latter of which is slated for release in 2027. So it's not like we're getting no Ninja Turtles, but The Last Ronin, dude, like, just what I was imagining, I'm really sad that that's not going to be a reality. Because that
Have you guys read any of The
cool.
Last Ronin? It's rad.
Harrison has it.
I have it. I haven't read it, but I have a stack of books that I'm like, okay, I'm reading all of these by the end of the year. I have to finish Dune, the graphic novel, and then after that is Last Ronin. So I'm getting
is
to
it Michelangelo or who's the solo? Is it Donatello? Who's the last Ronin?
Raphael.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it's Raphael.
Okay, that makes
Yeah,
the
because
most
I mean,
sense.
how are they going to make him angry if it's not Raph?
You know what? Hey, butterfly effect. If they wouldn't have taken out that deleted scene of Michelangelo losing his shit in the barn. Maybe it would have steered the Last Ronin to be Michelangelo.
Could have been.
But that would have been cool.
It would have
too.
been more family friendly.
Exactly.
Question mark?
Yeah,
Question mark?
totally. The reluctant
Dark
mad
side.
guy.
Anyone that wants to mourn the loss of this movie, just pull it up on Webtoon. It's up there free. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's worth it.
Okay, Scott, do the theme song.
Dun, 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 comparing deaths. Dun, 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 dun. Who's the best? Dun, 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 dun. This is bad.
Perfect. Trademark. This is just little games we like to play. What we're going to do is I'm just going to present 2 deaths that have occurred in films that we have covered. That one's better because it's more epic. That one was better because it was more impactful for the story. So on and so forth, okay?
Okay. I'm
Okay.
ready.
Let's go with Nitty getting thrown off the roof in Untouchables.
Okay.
Or the old man getting shot out the window in RoboCop. 2 solid falling deaths with great green screen, by the way.
Wait, are you talking about the last scene in RoboCop where he's like claymation and his arms are too long?
Yes.
The 2 exact same scenes in 2 different movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Untouchables. Did he sound anything like this? Because that's a really good line.
Yeah.
I think I'm also going to go with that one, just mainly because of that line. And it's just a little more memorable. Or what is it? Oh, no. Then he has the follow-up line. Yeah, where's Nitty? And he goes, he's in the car. And he throws in the keys or something like that. It's so good.
Okay, I'm going to be contrarian. I'm going to go with the RoboCop one just because it's like after it's not good. The movie's just over right after. I think that's funny.
Ooh, okay.
Abrupt.
I like it. Okay, here's a good one. We're going to stick with the Untouchables. The little girl exploding in the bar.
Oh man.
Or again with RoboCop, the corporate lackey getting just gunned the hell down by Ed 209 and landing on the city.
This is such a weird but perfect comparison.
I know.
Because both of them perfectly captured the tones of the 2 different movies.
Yeah.
They both raised the stakes to like, oh, that's what this movie's going to be like. One just happened to be a sweet little girl and you're like, and the other one was like, yeah, you deserved it.
That's true. I think both of those deaths are like the first death in each film. But yeah, you're right. Setting the tone just right out the gates.
I think, man, the little girl exploding is way more... I don't know. I guess it's not as shocking. No, I'm going to go with the guy dying by Ed 209. That one just really... I was like, what the hell am I watching? And then you got then a little bit of symbolism of him dying on top of the White City. Like, I was like, okay, there's a little bit of a layer there. I like.
That is like one of the most violent deaths. Like underrated violent.
That's right up there with like... in The Returning, digging up a dead child's body and putting it on your wife's bed.
Dude.
Yeah.
Top tier dark.
For sure.
I will make sure everyone sees this movie eventually.
At some point, everyone will know. Let's do one more. Let's go with, who are they? Fëanor and Amleth. Their death at the very end in the volcano.
Oh, yeah.
Or Katya in Europa Report when she falls through the ice and sees what she sees, and it has that horrifying look on her face.
For me, it's Northman. That just the 2 butt-ass naked dudes just fighting in a volcano. Like that's incredible.
How can you go wrong?
Yeah.
So it's like the literal polar opposites. 2 people killing each other butt naked at the same time in a lava pit. Compared to one woman inside the most amount of clothes possible on an ice planet far away from Earth.
Wow.
Scott, that was so good.
Holy
Oh
God.
my gosh. That was So perfect. I didn't even think of any of that. I was just like, these are both like epic moments in the film. Like, that's all I thought. I was like, these are sweet moments. Oh my gosh.
Well done. Well done.
So for me, I'm going to go with Katya, Falling Through the Ice. I think that might be, other than Catwoman dying in Batman Returns, I think that's like my number one.
Well, she actually doesn't die. But
She does.
You're
She
right.
Oh,
dies.
you're right.
You're right.
She's
Well,
got 9
one of her-
lives.
Yeah, her 8th life. according to a Reddit thread I found.
No, she did die, but then they spent, what was the story? They spent like $1 million getting that last shot where they like blue screen her like looking up at the bat signal, and then it cuts and the movie's over.
Yes.
The blue screen her in. That's so true.
Yeah.
It's CG.
We'll fix it in post. It's okay.
Fix it in post.
Fix it first.
The
Whatever it
dim,
takes.
delusive Catwoman.
Oh, that's a good transition with that little
Did I
accent
do
you just had.
Did I do that?
That was pretty good. How Sir Percy of you. Wow.
My goodness, I was
Very
trying
good.
to think of a way to slip in "sink me" when talking about Katya in your report, but I couldn't figure it out. Sink me.
See me.
You know
All
what?
right.
With that, let's roll the tape.
This matter of the Scarlet Pimpernel has become a national menace. They seek him here. They seek him there. Those Frenchies seek him everywhere. Is he in heaven? Is he in hell? That damn elusive Pimpernel.
So should I read the intro in Sir Percy's accent, or would that just make
yes.
me... No, I
No,
can't. I literally
please.
can't do that. No,
Wait. Here, I have a poem. I have a poem. See, it rhymes.
Wait, is it a song or is it a poem or whatever it was?
I mean poetry.
I'm not gonna do Sir Percy's accent, but it might come up later. We'll see.
Give in to peer pressure, Ren.
I'll fix it in post. I can't do it now. My. The Scarlet Pimpernel. A very British adventure film starring Leslie Howard, Merle, Oberon, and Raymond Massey, directed by Harold Young and produced by Alexander Korda. Based on the 1905 play and adventure novel by Baroness Orczy. This story follows Sir Percy Blakeney, an English aristocrat who leads a double life rescuing French nobles from the guillotine. While he appears to be a vain and shallow fop in London society, he secretly operates as a master of disguise and espionage. This dual identity trope became the definitive blueprint for modern superheroes, directly influencing the creation of characters like Zorro and Batman. The film remains a classic example of how a hero can use wit, charm, and a deceptive public persona to outsmart his enemies. Harrison, this was your pick. I need to know why you put this on the list. If you meant to put this on the list, if you've seen this before, I need you to fill us in.
All right,
I have
let's
never
fill-
heard of this ever.
So I think this is what happened. Okay, so we're all together watching the Super Bowl, and we told the family like, "Oh yeah, our next theme is colors." And so we were all kind of just naming movies with colors in the title, and I came across the Scarlet Pimpernel, and I said that, and Paige, my sister, was like, "Oh my gosh, I love that movie," and I was like, "Oh really?" And she's like, "You love that movie too? You watched it with me," and I was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Huh," and I like looked it up. And I was like, I don't remember this, but I remember that there was this stretch of time, especially in my theater years, where I loved watching kind of these old swashbuckling, type of movies. And I was like, I think I have seen this one. So I put the movie on and I'm watching it and I'm like, I very vaguely kind of remember this, but I don't think this is the movie that I originally was thinking of. And it took a little thinking. But I think what I did was I confused the Scarlet Pimpernel with Court Jester, which is a movie with Danny Kaye in it. And in that movie, these like kind of like Robin Hood and all them. They have like the band of in the Sherwood Forest. All these people who live in the forest. They have the king, and he's a baby, and on his butt is a birthmark, and it looks like the Scarlet Pimpernel like symbol. And so I think that's what made the connection. And I do distinctly remember watching that with Paige, and me and her just falling in love with Danny Kaye, and then the whole movie. It's actually still remains one of my top, like, I say this I've said this about 40 films, but it's probably in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. So I think that's where the confusion kind of came in. That being said, I definitely don't regret still watching this movie and having it on my list. I think this was a really, it was a fun watch. I would say my first watch through, it took about 45 minutes for me to really go like, oh, all right, I'm liking this. This is cool. This is kind of when the wit comes in, the dual personalities and all that stuff. And I was kind of getting more intrigued by it. And then I actually did a second watch just today, right before we came on, just to kind of refresh myself. And that second viewing was really good for me. I watched it and I was like, nah, this is a good, satisfying meal. And I felt like a lot of effort and work went into this. I would say kind of the tagline I had with after I watched it the first time, I found this movie extremely captivating, especially when it came to the actors and the actresses in it. Like, their performances were just like, they like grabbed my head and like pulled it into the screen. It was like, watch this. And that's how I felt about the film.
Yeah. So Paige also subjected me to this story when we first got married, and I had never heard of it before. And we did not watch the 1934 version. We watched the 1980 something version with Jane Seymour. I kind of think I like the newer one more. Maybe it's also been like 16 years since I've seen it.
Wait, real quick. How fine is Jane Seymour in that?
Very.
Is there any other way to describe him?
I was looking at photos. I was actually texting you guys. I was like, hey, if we want to switch to the 82 version, like, I'm down.
I'm just saying.
Anyways, sorry to interrupt you.
Paige told me, Harrison. So I didn't actually tell Paige what the movie was that we were watching until like yesterday. And she's like, oh, you're watching Scarlet Pimpernel. And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, I love that movie. And I was like, well, we're watching the 1931. She's like,
oh.
And I was like, you should text Harrison right now and just tell him you're disappointed in him.
She never did. She should have, though.
I have actually really grown to love this story since we watched it the original time. I haven't watched the movies ever since. Paige and I read the book together a couple of years ago, maybe 10 years ago together. And as soon as you get into this story, you really see like how influential this character was to the Caped Crusader superhero thing. Like, I just read doing research today that Stan Lee loved this story, and it was like he called it the first superhero story, so like clearly Batman, Superman, anyone who wears a mask has a dual identity is going to be based off of this. I think that Christopher Nolan's depiction of Batman is really close to this. There's
Absolutely.
multiple times in the first and second movies where he is playing the fop, the rich fop, and then he like destroys relationships with like Rachel and stuff like that, as Bruce Wayne. But that he's struggling with underneath. He's this serious person that's trying to do everything he can. He is using all of his money in the like bludgeonest way possible to stop all the corruption. And, like, for example, there's this one scene in the second movie in Dark Knight where he's going to be outed by the accountant guy or whatever. And he like, as Bruce Wayne gets into the Lamborghini and just like screams through the streets of Chicago / Gotham, and then crashes into the car that the guy that was going to out him was in to save the guy's life before the Joker kills him, or whatever. And it's just like all of the you don't want them to get caught, but you want them to get caught so they're not living the secrets. It's just this really, really great trope. And the author of the Scarlet Pimpernel, Baroness Orczy, like, she nailed it so well in the original story. And I want to talk about the history of it later, but like this story has really grown on me, and he's such a fop, and like it's so girly that I didn't like it at first, but now like I tell that little poem about, they seek him here, they seek him there, and I say it with the same voice, and it's just so dumb. But is he in heaven or is he in hell? It's like perfect. I don't know. I'm glad that this movie got on here, and I'm glad that you picked this version, even though I think I like the newer one more, because I got the opportunity to watch both now, and it just fleshes out a little bit of my like foundational love for the Shadow and Batman and Zorro and all that kind of stuff.
This is my first time ever, like I said, zero knowledge, and if anything, like maybe I like saw the title at one point and I was like, oh, that's the origin for the word pimp. Interesting. And I didn't think about it ever again.
Straight up. You're totally accurate.
Yeah, I'm just like, this just feels uncool and like white. Like, how white are we for watching this, like, on our show?
You know what? It's true, honestly.
It's so white.
It's so true.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I started playing the movie, and like, this movie just feels ancient, which isn't a bad thing, but like, I was kind of like impressed with the guillotine, like the filmmaking in the beginning, with not showing any violence, but you see that heavy guillotine kind of going up, and then it goes down. You hear the thud. It shows the like crowd's reaction, and I was like, "This is cool so far." And it took a while to kind of get me like excited to finishing it. The dialogue is great. It's like tight. It's really well done. We'll go over the actors later, but throughout the movie, I was like, "This is the most pinky out, like pompously British, like aggressively Anglophilic movie I have ever seen in my life." It's really funny. Just haven't seen a lot of movies like this.
Yeah, no, I would say this. So I'm watching this movie. Out of all the how many black and white films have we watched? I can think of M. Is there any others that we watched in black and white?
I think
that's it.
Yeah,
this
so
is the
far.
second oldest movie we watched.
Maybe it's because M was the other one we watched, and maybe I've just watched other more quote unquote like serious movies that were in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So when I watched this, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of humor in this. And I haven't watched a movie like this in so long that on the second watch, I kind of almost had to shift my humor to like really appreciate this movie, because it's just so different than like funny movies nowadays. You know what I mean? Like just the type of humor in this film is just not what you hear all the time. So on the second watch, I shifted the way I viewed about it just a little bit. And I was like, this is really dang funny. Like there's some really great quips. There's like just the moment, like especially the moment when he comes back home and the bad guy is in there talking to his wife, and he just finds a way to like, oh, look at your cravat. That looks so terrible. Oh my gosh, let me show you how to do this. And he's just finding ways to like really jab him as much as possible without being like too rude. And I really like that scene also because I feel like he's got a little bit of anger in him while he's doing it. You can just kind of hear this like undertone of like fury in his voice while he's, fixing his cravat or saying that poem to him. And I don't know, it's just a very gentlemanly like way of insulting somebody.
I finished watching this. So it's old, right? This is 1934 and M was 1931. Mm-hmm. The technology difference between M and this movie is freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Like this is a film and M was like, look at how far we could push this cinema thing in ways that have never done before. And like M was good. It was also filmed in like the middle of a Weimar depression, but this movie filmed in the US or the UK, I guess, was just like, I don't know. I was just so surprised to see how subtle it was and how clean, like you said, the dialogue was. And I think there's reasons that I'll talk about, like why this story feels so full and fleshed out and realized in comparison to like M. But just recognizing like just a few years earlier, it was the silent films. Yeah. And this is like a real movie. That kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
I was actually really impressed. I was watching, I was like, I don't think there's been a single voiceover in this whole film. Like I can't really pick a moment where I'm like, oh, they had to add that in post, or they had to change a line there. And I feel like maybe it's just because we watched The Returning and it's just all voiceover completely and it sounds terrible. But I was watching this. I was just watching this and I was like, this just feels clean, like good, clean audio, even though it's not like particularly crisp. But just, I don't know. I feel like they didn't have to fiddle with it as much.
Says something about the quality of the actors for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We'll talk
most
about
definitely.
That. Yeah.
Also, so I was thinking about the comparison between this and M being coming out decently close to each other. I think one thing that this movie did way different than what M did was the scale of this movie was a lot larger. Like, I feel like we saw more crowds, larger, bigger spaces being filmed. Like that shot over the city when that guy pops his head out the window and he's like, "Long live the king," you know, all that stuff. Like, we saw a whole shot of the whole city there. And I feel like M is really on the ground. Even the scenes that are filmed outside are a very small section of the street. Or when he's walking through that town and there's all the displays in the windows, like there's a lot of buildings and it's kind of like crowding the camera. And I feel like this movie was just way more wider shot. Like there was just more in the camera.
Yeah, it's made me think of M a lot. I'm just starting to like appreciate like a lot of the limitations that they had with the giant cameras and the expensive film or whatever limitations they had. But there's a scene where Sir Percy, he's in that like old hag makeup with like the fake nose.
Yeah.
And he's like on the getaway in the carriage. And it's just like the camera's next to like a seat and he's pretending to like be in a carriage. But it's like really obvious. But I love that stuff just because I can point those things out. But it also made me think of that scene in M where the mom is waiting for Elsie. She turns around in the apartment and then she looks down the stairs and it's like blatantly a model, like a dollhouse looking down some stairs. Anyways, we should compile all these scenes and just put them together. I think that'd be cool.
Dude, you know, speaking of like cinematography, so there's a scene where Percy and his wife they're riding and you see the rear projection of the background going by. And I was like, that's funny. But then you see a shadow of a tree go across his face. And he like looks up at the tree as it goes by. And I was like, wait a minute. Even back then they were doing the thing. Like they were trying to make it feel more immersive and more real by having like literal shadows go across them. Like they had to manufacture that inside the studio. And that's just cool to me.
Yeah.
All the way back in 34.
Dang, that's impressive. By the way, I like when he took off that fake nose. I was like, I feel like it didn't change in size or anything, actually. Like, I feel like his nose was just as big. But, and then what was it? The other thing I liked about that disguise is his pipe that he had in his mouth was upside down the whole time. I thought that was just a fun little tack on they put in that.
I wish I did more research because I want to bring it up, but I really appreciated the costumes. Everything was just like really well done. A lot of really good attention to detail on a lot of that stuff. I mean, everything down to all the camel toes for all the people who are wearing. I don't know if you guys noticed that. There's the most egregious camel toe I've ever seen on film. It's in this scene right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's I was like, dude,
is this appropriate?
Hey everybody, just popping in real quick. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, that would really help us out a lot. But either way, let's get back to the show.
Wait. let's talk about
right
the
Zoom in.
This guy right here in the middle. The guy in the middle, especially.
No, I actually noticed that with Lady Blakeney. Like some of her dresses were just absolutely stunning to me. And what was it? The scene where she's like feigning, like, "Oh, I'm faint because it's so hot." I was like, that's a really low cut front on her dress for back then, at least in my head. I was just like, whoa, like, all right. It was a little shocking, but she looked great.
Let's cover, was the nudity egregious in this movie, or was it necessary?
Okay, so check this out. Let me find in my notes. But this movie was actually not conspiracies. We're not there yet.
We'll get there. We'll
reception.
Get there.
Okay, for the reception of this movie, there was a huge issue when this came out. The Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America, the MPPDA, which enforced the Hays Code, flagged the film for low-cut dresses and significant breast cleavage in
Whoa.
several reels 1, 4, and 8. And honestly, they were right. Like, going back then, like, it's actually pretty nuts. There's one scene where Merle Oberon, yeah, like it's like down to like the bottom of her rib cage, and I didn't think about it once, but when you put yourself back in time, it's pretty ahead of its time.
Risque.
Yeah, risque. Yeah. But I appreciated it. But okay, so we've talked about Merle Oberon now. She is stunning.
Yeah.
She is absolutely gorgeous. I'd never heard of her in my entire life. She's a pretty interesting Did you guys do any research on her?
Not too much. I just know she was in a version of Wuthering Heights. I was totally captivated by her. Like there, especially like there's a handful of those scenes where she's like talking to Percy, and then when it gets to a really intimate moment, it like all you have in the frame is just her face. Kind of that classic like movie star, like zoom in on her face. And just anytime that happened, I was like, whoa, you are like she's just stunning.
I love that scene when after the guys left from her house, the bad guy Chevlon, right? Chevlon?
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever his name is. Chauvelin. After he's left, she goes, "Who do you think the Scarlet Pimpernel is?" You know, and she's standing there like just tortured in her soul, like looking out the window towards the camera, and he's in the background like stewing on like, do I love my wife or not? Like, she's super hot, I still love her, but she like has like instigated killing all my friends and all this kind of stuff. And which, by the way, that entire undercurrent between their like relationship and her trying to find out secrets and, you know, and him keeping his secret from her and stuff, super great writing. So congratulations, Baroness Orczy, you did a great job in the story. The way that he looks in the background, slightly out of focus, and her face being the main thing, and they hadn't developed the, like, you see it more in the 50s and stuff of like softening the camera a little bit to make like a feminine face look more feminine. They didn't do that, and I think it made her feel more real, as opposed to like, this is the romanticized version of a woman from a period drama. It's like, no, this is like your girlfriend that you married, you know, because she's freaking fine and height of society and stuff like that. And it was like, she is a woman as opposed to like a caricature of a woman. And I just loved that scene. It made the two, you're like, you want them to resolve the tension, but it's still in the thick of it. And both of them would have to out their own secrets to be able to resolve their like unrequited love there. Like, it was, I don't know, this story's good. It was framed really well. It was filmed really well. I was just surprised once again for it being in the 30s.
So Leslie Howard, he just, like, he says nothing with his mouth, but his eyes do the acting. I don't know if it's the same scene you're talking about, but there's multiple, like, they have pretty good chemistry. I was really impressed with their performances. Real quick, let me just go over this real quick. But so Merle Oberon, this was interesting, but she spent her entire career crafting a fictional identity as a highborn Tasmanian to conceal her mixed race South Asian heritage.
Oh,
bro, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it wasn't until after her death that biographers discovered that she was born in Mumbai to a mother of Sri Lankan and Maori descent, a secret she guarded so fiercely that she often used light-toned makeup to pass as white in color films. The real secret identity adds a layer of irony to her role in this film, entirely centered on the art of social deception. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty heavy, and I mean, also kind of sad that she had to do that, but
But it also explains why she's so hot. Like,
oh yeah. Here, jumping back to just Percy and her and their chemistry. Sir Percy's got these two personas, and I feel like he does a really great job of keeping them separate, of when he's speaking as the Scarlet Pimpernel and when he's speaking as Sir Percy. And I almost like the moments where there's kind of this blend between them when he's talking to his wife about why there's this strain between them, and he ends up bringing up the fact, it's like, no, you outed these people and they end up getting executed. And to see kind of his Sir Percy persona almost drop, and you see the Scarlet Pimpernel come forth in that moment. Like, on the second watch, I saw that, and I was like, that was masterfully done. Like I feel like these two really, really carried this movie very strongly. Like, their performances are just mind-blowing to me.
So in the more recent, the 82 version, they start the movie. So there's that time about halfway through this film in the 34 version where he tells the poem for the first time, and it's the first time you see him as the fop, and you're like, oh, holy crap! Like he's everything before that was like, let's establish all of this like serious setting and stuff like that, and then you see him as the fop afterwards. So there's never a reveal for the audience. It's like, oh, he's covering up doing serious stuff, right? But in the 82 version, the movie opens with that scene, and he's like, I've got this poem by it's The Scarlet Pimpernel by Sir Percy Blakeney, and then you're just like eye rolling, like, who is this absolute idiot that all the girls are fawning over in high society? And you're like, I will slit my wrists right now. Like, it's so bad. And then it's not until later that you see him with the serious face and stuff like that. And that actor does a really good job of like, you see the depth and the like desperation of the mission that he's assigned to himself, and how he doesn't want to die. He loves his wife. He doesn't want her to know. He's so mad at her. He's got to save his friends, but he's playing this Bruce Wayne character on top of it. And that's like the Nolan version of Batman is, I think, really similar to the 82 version of Scarlet Pimpernel. From the character side. So if you guys ever get a chance, like it's definitely worth watching.
I'm watching that soon. Yeah. Yeah, well, you mentioned the Batman movies. I'd watched both of those recently. I think I mentioned on our pod, but I tried watching the third one with Bane. I got 20 minutes in. I just turned it off. I will revisit it. But the parts where I keep forgetting his name. Leslie Howard. Yeah. Who is peak Leslie Howard in this movie, by the way. But where he kind of like sweet talks and just kind of throws the shovelin, or I can't remember all these people's names in this movie. I'm not British.
Very French. Very French English.
But yeah, he'll just kind of be talking to him, and he'll say things that'll totally throw them off from their scent. And, that character is basically Chief Gordon. Yeah, and it really reminded me like almost exactly of a scene in that movie, but it's just really cool because when you go back to its roots, which this movie is, like the history of it all, it seems like obvious, but this was like groundbreaking when it came out, and we've already talked about the influence that it brought in the future, but it's just really cool. I'm glad that we went this far back to see this.
We've talked about Tarantino a number of times on this podcast without watching any Tarantino yet. But one of the things that I love about Tarantino is that he has this unabashed love of cinema history. And he's like, I'm just going to like full on steal that and put that in my movie because I love cinema, and I'm going to do it right. So you don't care. I'm not stealing it. I'm writing a love letter to it. And for the people that know, it makes the movies better because the people that love cinema will know, and they're like kindred spirits with the director and writer, right? And I find it really cool as we've gone back and watched more movies to see these kinds of similar things, like being able to pick up like, oh, that's a reference from M. That's a reference from the Scarlet Pimpernel. That's a reference from, I don't know, Alien or something like that. And you wouldn't know that unless you really were doing weird things like what we're doing and just going back and watching these, I don't know, just amazing or not even amazing movies from a long time ago, and recognizing like, oh, a lot of these directors are actually doing things that they're wearing the love of the medium on their sleeve in a way that I didn't recognize before. And I think it's making more modern cinema more respectable to me, because it's not just like some random idea they threw out there. It's like, I don't want to keep like circle jerking on Christopher Nolan, but there's not a lot of it's almost like he does a similar thing. Like I was reading an interview, or not an interview, I was reading a thing about the Odyssey movie that he's going to be putting out next year or this summer or whatever. And recognizing that like he cared a lot about the story of the Odyssey, so he's going to do it right. And obviously, he cared a lot about this story, or he wouldn't have put it into Batman, you know? And like the guy certainly knows his history of cinema and stories. And I really like seeing how he can take the good parts of something and integrate it into his current projects. And the formula of the good parts raises his work to a higher level than it would have been if he was just churning out movies to meet the blockbuster season or something like that. Like there is a level of auteur that I'm starting to appreciate, not just in his films, but other films as well. That really does make the movies be more impactful. For like Batman Returns, there's so many references to the Moses biblical story, but everything is like the hellish version of Moses's story and all of the different plagues and how and like that's what really does give the Penguin his depth, is just that tragic story of like, what if it was the Moses that everyone threw in the trash instead of the chosen one, you know? And I find that to be a surprising revelation watching a bunch of movies that I just didn't know was a thing before we started this podcast.
Dude, I love that.
I'm just gonna go on record right now and say that I think talking about Penguin being Moses is my favorite thing I've ever brought up on this podcast ever.
That was a good call.
I was so jazzed when like it started clicking in my head, and I was like, wait a minute, and then I like rewound the movie and watched it real fast, and I was like, this is something. I know it's something. Like,
yeah, that was pretty good. I was really proud of my Tremors and The Shining revelation, but yours, the Batman one, actually was way better. Okay,
solid.
I just wanted to say of what you were saying, Scott. I love like that part of your brain that gets tickled. Like I remember like when you're in high school and you start listening to like music, and you're like, oh wait, that's a sample from like an old R&B song, and now Wu-Tang is sampling it. It like tickles that part of the brain, or like you listen to like house electronic music or whatever, and they sample some funky ass bass line. You're like, dude, I know what song that's from, and that makes the artist that sampled them 10 times cooler because it's like an homage, just building on top of the shoulders of giants that came before you. That whole concept, and yeah, like that's how I feel watching this. Like I want to go like watch all the Batmans now, like just to like find these little elements that were taken from its original source. Anyways, I think that's cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Love it.
So I wanted to ask you guys, there's the scene where man, once again, just like you, Ren, I'm like trying to remember everyone's name. Okay. So there's a scene where Lady Blakeney, she has to get that message from one of Percy's like cohorts. And they go to the dance, and then she's like, oh, I'm so faint and it's so hot out, and he brings her out into this hallway. And she's sitting there, and then she sees him pull the note out and tries to burn it. And there was just a series of shots where it's like really zoomed in on her face, and she's like, you know, pretending to like be faint, and then she like opens her eyes. She's trying to like figure out how to get it. And I don't know, just like the really close-up shots of people's faces, I feel like you don't see that in movies anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't know if it's like a style thing that kind of just went away. But I feel like I see it a lot in older movies, and it just isn't around anymore. So I don't know what that means. I did like that entire scene. It felt like, what was I wrote down, I was like, this is like a spy movie draped in gentlemanness. And that scene right there felt like that, you know.
It's like James Bond in a period drama.
Yes, yeah. No, it's true, honestly. That's a great way of putting it.
Like what you were saying, Ren, like there is nothing cool about this movie on the surface. You look at the cover, the name is a freaking flower, and it's like someone describes it to you, and it's like, yeah, it's like it's in the French Revolution in high society, kind of smuggling people out so they don't get killed, and you're like, don't care. And then you watch it and you're like, actually, this is pretty rad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you should lead with like, okay, you know how like Batman, they're like just
It's like that, but high society.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
speaking of that, one of my favorite moments in this movie is when at the very beginning they go into this giant, huge community jail cell to call out the people to like, all right, you guys are the next ones on the chopping block. And I love the fact that everyone in there is still dressed up, still looks like they keep up with themselves even when they're in jail. There's kids running around having fun. There's like a lady sitting at like a makeup table, like primping herself up before she goes and gets executed. I just thought it was so funny that
in the
Yeah.
dungeon.
yeah, in the dungeon, she has like her little makeup kit and a mirror. And I was just like, this is so interesting. Like, these people look way better than anyone walking around nowadays. And they're in jail about to be killed. So, probably just like a keeping up with appearances type of a thing. But, or maybe it's just a pride thing. Like, you know, it doesn't matter I'm arrested. I know I'm going to get killed, but I still have my standards and I'm sticking with them.
To Harrison, to answer your question about the shot choices for close-ups. So the purpose of a close-up will probably be pretty obvious. It's mostly to show subtlety in the face, right? Or claustrophobicness. If what you're trying to pay attention to is off camera, but you're focused on someone's face, it basically makes the reader or the viewer feel super claustrophobic because they can't see what the thing is, and all you see is the reaction, like the death in Europa Report. You know, you're like, what's happening? It's
That's a good
crazy. So it's really heightens tension. It really heightens subtlety and micro expressions and stuff like that. So I think in this shot it does both, because you know that she doesn't want to get caught, but you also need to see all of the subtlety of her like grappling with how am I going to do this sneaky thing in high society. So we don't really see a lot of that today, I think, because this is my personal take. Most films today are not really that deep. That's pretty broad and very damning, but in general, most film is kind of like, let's tell the story and let's fix it in post. So a lot of post is let's show the world. Let's do broad shots. Let's show the whole airport or whatever, stuff like that. And there's just not as many movies that are intentionally zoomed up to show someone's micro expressions because...
If you enjoy watching our show on Spotify or YouTube and you want to be more involved, we encourage you to please come check out our Patreon community. Not only does our Patreon community get every episode you see on YouTube early, fully uncut, uncensored, and ad-free, but we're also doing Patreon exclusive episodes, as well as Q&As, video clips, and access to our entire film catalog. It's a lot of fun and a nice way to say thanks for the cost of a cup of coffee every month. Now, back to the show.
That's not the level of depth, but you know, there's like Mad Max Fury Road. That's very close up. A lot of that movie, not a ton of dialogue. A lot of that movie is what's going on in people's faces in that movie. Baz Luhrmann likes to do a lot of close up shots because he's just batshit crazy with his cinematography anyway. And so he likes to show people's faces to convey something. I'm thinking specifically of like Leonardo DiCaprio in Gatsby, how many times they just show his perfectly chiseled, like beautiful face to convey the millionaire. Stuff like that. I think Edgar Wright likes to do this. He shows like, think of like, One Night Soho, stuff like that. Like, or anyone that's got like really big eyes. Cameramen like to zoom in people's big eyes because they convey a lot of emotion and stuff like that. Nolan will do it often. Oppenheimer does it a lot, but that's usually show the groundedness. Like, let's zoom on into McConaughey's face because he's a grizzled farmer, and let's just let McConaughey be McConaughey because that's what's going to convey this shot. But you have to have a subtlety that you're trying to convey to do a close up and have it matter. And this movie, I think, does it well.
Also, too, if you put the time into context, this is only a few years removed from silent film. You know, that's really like, I'm thinking of Sunset Boulevard
Or Vampire.
That movie's but that movie's about an actress who is basically out of business because the talkies don't focus on faces as much as they used to. So that could be part of it as well. But yeah,
Interesting.
I
yeah.
like that. That was really good, Red. Props.
one of the most amazing books that I ever read in my entire life is called The Fatal Shore, The Epic of Australia's Founding. It's by Robert Hughes. Honestly, I think I highlighted and underlined 80% of the book. It holds no punches, but it was cool because it gave me a lot of context about this time period, especially with the guillotine, beheadings, public hangings. But when you really understand the details about the people that are in the crowds, which this film shows, it's mind blowing. This book in particular, like I think it helped me make like 40 history snuff videos on my history channel. But just knowing about how filthy the streets were, how gin alcohol just ravaged and destroyed the people, destroyed their lives, the poverty, the overcrowded jails, Parliament deciding to ship out like 5,000 convicts because they were like overflowing, like they didn't have enough jails, and sending them to Australia just to forget about them, just sweeping them under the rug. It was just amazing. But just to think about, like, why would, like, put yourself back in those times, like, why would you be like, yeah, let's go to a guillotine beheading?
Dude,
And, like,
I don't know, man.
There's one story. I forget, it was for some royalty. He got beheaded, but 80,000 people showed up to see this. That's 3 times the amount of people that can fit into the Moda Center in Portland. Like,
Man.
you just think about, I don't know, but that scene where everyone's just like, yeah, and it's got the people in the front, they're like knitting like sweaters.
Dude, I wrote down, I was like, proof that ADHD happened back then too. Like they had to do something while they were watching TV, you know?
Yeah, but it's just like, but I know like there are some accounts they would like bring their kids, be like, hey, this is why you follow the rules, this is why you pay your taxes. And I was like, oh, I should file my taxes. But,
Right.
but
I wonder.
that part's really cool.
I wonder if it's like a confirmation thing or something. It's like I have to see it to believe it. Like there's this whole, there's this whole governmental thing going on in this film and everything. I wonder if it's people being like, okay, like apparently there's a lot of changes going on. I got to go see. Oh, they are killing these people. All right. Well, I paid for the ticket. I might as well stay for the show.
So let's. This might be a really good time to talk about the setting that this movie takes place in. So this is in the middle of the French Revolution. Okay, so there's a republic that overthrew the monarchy, and the king was thrown into jail. He was later executed, but this is basically like a very similar thing, but from the opposite side of the political spectrum of like Nazism. Is the political environment was so terrible that it caused a revolution because the monarchy was genuinely bad. But all of the aristocracy was not bad. But because they were part of the aristocracy, which is basically like the people that got privilege or class or status because they were their family line was related to the king, essentially, they were grouped in with the aristocracy. So it's like the family lines you were born into, and that was it. So all of the aristocracy was basically grouped in with the original monarchy. So long live the king, right? And so this new republic had come up, and they were just basically so pissed off that they kind of turned into this bloodbath of murdering a bunch of people, a bunch of innocent people. So that's all the main characters is like genuinely, they were just normal humans that were born into class, and the working class people rose up. They had the Marxist Revolution, started a republic, and then went batshit crazy and murdered so many people with a guillotine. And they just kept going and kept going and kept going. And this happened multiple times during multiple French revolutions. It's really brutal. Like Ren, you were talking about reading that, but like there's nothing like clean about a guillotine. It's like a lot of blood, And so in our current political environment, I don't like the division. There are reasons for both sides of the political argument to be pissed off at the other, and they're genuinely good reasons, but I don't appreciate how vitriolic everything is on the socials and stuff like that. It's insane because
is.
all I
Yeah.
can think about is like our future is either like pure crazy communism or pure crazy like fascism. Like there's really no medium between those. And both of them lead to some form of massive violence like this. And when you see, you know, like Charlie Kirk gets shot and then people love it. Like to me, that is the
Yeah.
exact same thing as going to a guillotine and watching it and cheering it on, because for some
Oh my
reason
God.
you've decided that like the humanity doesn't matter anymore. And it, like, Charlie Kirk is one example. Like it's not about the political spectrum of it all. It's the fact that like the thing that bothers me is when it turns into like we're not thinking about humans anymore. We have turned humans into a symbol of something that we hate, and we're going to murder them because of the symbol that we hate. And why you hate that symbol is really valid. But to me, it is not valid to project that into murdering other people and objectifying them as a symbol to hate, especially when they're like not actually the reason that you're in the horrible situation that you're in. They're just grouped in by coincidence or happenstance or whatever. So anyway,
Dude, you bring up that's interesting, like socially, because like really like our parameters are different. So like our human instincts are just gonna be in like slightly altered. But you are totally right. It's like since we don't have guillotine and beheadings, now we have rage on our phones. I don't know. I don't know.
What a way to put it, Red. I like it.
It's like just a way to filter things. It's really interesting. I don't think I've ever thought about that. Human beings are the same, just it comes out in a different way. I don't even know how to explain
Ren,
what I'm thinking.
didn't you say like in a podcast a couple months ago that like the last guillotining was like 50 years ago or something like that? Like
I think it was in like 62 in like Italy or something.
What the ever living crap? Like so not okay with me. Like
Okay, you ready? Yeah. Of course, this is just Google AI. The last guillotine execution took place on September 10th, 1977.
77.
Isn't that
Wow.
crazy?
Yeah, there's a picture of it. Yeah. Or even hangings. Like, I mean, there are places where that still happens, but like famously, like they're basically done. But since we're on the topic, I was looking at pictures of John Wilkes Booth and his team when they caught all of them after Lincoln was shot. There's a picture of all 4 or 5 of them as they got hung. And you know how like old pictures have like a blur on them because if they're moving at all, it's blurry. And all the people are like wiggling. Their heads are bagged and they're all hanging and they're just like smeared like The Ring.
dude, this so dark. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
god.
know it is
damn,
crazy. But like
dude.
we have photographic
Holy-
documentation
oh
that
my-
this happened.
Is that why The Ring does that? Oh my gosh.
Maybe.
That actually blows my mind. That's kind of a
Yeah.
crazy. Wow.
Okay. Another mind-blowing thing. I got to get this out. I got to cut this sort of short. So let me just finish with this. But okay. So back to Leslie Howard. His life eventually mirrored his performance as the Scarlet Pimpernel in a weird series of coincidences. Did you guys hear anything or read anything
I
about
heard.
this?
I lightly heard something, but I don't know the details.
This is
Enlighten
crazy.
me. I'm so intrigued.
All right, this is cool. So, the real-life spy theory. Leslie Howard was a major anti-Nazi propagandist during World War II, and rumors were that he was a secret agent for British intelligence. Fans often point out that his final mission, a lecture tour in neutral Portugal and Spain, was a perfect Pimpernel-style cover for high-level diplomatic espionage, possibly involving efforts to keep Spain out of the war. In 1943, Leslie Howard's civilian plane, Flight 777, was shot down by the Luftwaffe over the Bay of Biscay. A popular conspiracy theory, fueled by Winston Churchill himself, suggests that German agents in Lisbon mistakenly believed Churchill was on the plane. They reportedly saw Howard's business manager, named Alfred Chenhals, a stocky man who smoked large cigars, and mistook him for the prime minister. So we have this weird convergence of history with Winston Churchill, Leslie Howard, and Leslie Howard's plane getting shot down because they thought it was Winston Churchill. That's
Whoa.
nuts.
That is nuts.
So that was so that was about 8 or 9 years after this movie. He was killed in war.
Reading that in World War II, there were a number of real life, like Underground Railroad kind of rescuers that adopted the name of the Scarlet Pimpernel to just,
That's cool.
you know,
That's cool.
like there's the Tartan Pimpernel, there the American Pimpernel, helping Jews flee Nazi, stuff like that. Like I love that kind of stuff. It's like, hey, I watched this movie or I read this book and it like gave me enough courage to do something insane to save people's lives. Like that's really cool to me.
That's like the origin of like why superhero stories are like good for us. That's really cool.
Harrison,
like,
you need to bring in some Avengers so we can not trash on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can watch Winter Soldier. It's good on its own. Now, I'll get some in at some point. I feel like there's a couple out there. It's like, no, this is genuinely good. Like, you guys will like it.
Oh, like, so I was looking up Leslie Howard and I was like, well, this guy did a really good job. Like, what else is he in? And the only movie that I recognized was Gone with the Wind. But it was so many, like, it was in 1939 when Gone with the Wind came out, and I was like, wait a minute. In my head, like, Gone with the Wind is like the oldest movie. Yeah. We've already watched 2 movies that were genuinely good, like a decade and then like 5 years before Gone with the Wind came out. And I'm like, wait a minute. So what? Like,
that is interesting.
Like, my timeline of movie history is off. Like,
it's expanding.
Like, so what was Gone with the Wind? Is like Gone with the Wind like the first blockbuster movie? Like, why do we talk about that one so much? And all of these other ones, like Leslie Howard was in like 20 movies before the Scarlet Pimpernel. So like, geez.
There's a lot of good stuff out there, man. And we'll never have enough time to watch all of it.
Oh, we will. We'll watch.
We'll find a way. We'll find a way.
All of it randomly.
Don't say that. You know that my brain is gonna find a way. I'm gonna make a schedule or something.
I'm already like 52 times 4. Okay, how many is that? If we do this,
okay, well, if we do that, we could do that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. What if we doubled it up every single day? We did 1. We could do micro reviews.
It's the most important thing in life, guys.
It's true. So I just got a list of like little random little things to bring up. What in the world is that weird like snake-like instrument that guy was playing in the very opening scene? Like all these guys are marching up, and there's this one instrument, like I don't know, it's like twisted like a snake, and like where the air comes out is like shot right at his belly. I don't know, it was really weird looking.
Huh. I don't remember that.
Harrison, I think you're literally the only person, except the person that was playing it, that remembers that.
More than likely.
Well, maybe if the DVD I got of this was literally bootleg, like someone set up a camera and filmed it on a screen. So maybe that's why I didn't see it.
There
so
you
annoying.
go.
So annoying. And then I'll go on YouTube and it's better.
I watched it on archive.org and that one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Just like in M, I love how when they like open up a letter, they just film the letter. It's like, all right, read it, audience.
Like multiple times.
Yeah, I love when
like
they
6
do that.
of those.
I had to pause it and I was like, okay, do I remember cursive?
I wrote down, when did thick vertical striped pants go out of style?
Yeah, it's sad.
Okay, I'm gonna admit this. So the twist when he gets out of the city dressed as the hag, and then the French soldiers come and they're like, why did you let him out? What the hell? And they chase after him, and turns out they're on his side. I legitimately was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Like, that twist actually got me. So props to that one.
Yeah, okay, so this isn't super conveyed in this particular movie except that one scene, but having read the book and watched the other movie as well, part of why the Scarlet Pimpernel, his job was to basically like propagate the mystique and the effectiveness of the Scarlet Pimpernel. And so that's what those soldiers are trying to do, is basically be like, what? You suck at your job. You let the Scarlet Pimpernel get away again. So that ripples through society and everyone's thinking about the Scarlet Pimpernel. That was, not super conveyed or obvious in this movie, but it is an important part of his character. Very theatrical.
I mentioned before, I was like, there's like no voiceovers in this, and I just remember there is a really bad one when they're in the library. There's definitely a voiceover of him fake snoring, and it's really bad.
Oh, like, yeah.
It's
The
so
snore.
like, it's just like that classic cartoon, like, You're just like, what was that? The bad guy, Shorin, if you cast him as Dracula, he would dominate.
I have that same thing written down.
Dominate.
He was so good.
I literally went on his letterbox and I was like, okay, he had to have played Dracula at some point. There's no way.
I did the same thing. That's so funny. He must be. He looks like someone else that played Dracula or something. Raymond Massey.
And then my last little note, I liked when at the very end when they're doing kind of that face off with each other, Percy's friend comes around back, sticks a gun in the bad guy's back, and they kind of like negotiate it. And he reaches back and like pushes the gun down. He's like, no, I'll come quietly. And his friend pulls out a second gun, like just right away. Like, it's so funny. He just like has that second one ready to go.
Yeah, he's so good.
Can I read a review from the New York Times from 1934?
Oh, please. Please.
This is funny. The Scarlet Pimpernel is stirring to the pulse and beautiful to the eye, and it weaves the richly textured background of those tingling months of the French Revolution into an enormously satisfying photoplay. Did the narrative seem a trifle leisurely in places? No matter. It was a leisurely age. It was a leisurely age, and here is a succulent and captivating entertainment. That's hilarious.
Life is just better. Life is better back then.
Every review just like this. How do you say 5 stars will watch again in that language?
Totally.
Succulent. That's what it is. Tantalizing. All right, I'm gonna try and write more like that. I need more of that old school, that old style back in my life.
So you mentioned the Sink Me. I love how that's just basically like it's like the origin of like fuck me or like god damn it. And then also there's 10,000 hags instead of like a swear word. I love that.
10,000
elusive 10,000 hacks. Delusive.
So good.
That might be all I have. I think we've covered everything in my notes. But
why does he sit there and have this weird triangular magnifying glass?
He just walks around with it all the time.
He like pokes people with it and like taps his lips with it. And I'm like, I need to walk around with a little magnifying glass so that if I want to inspect something, I just daintily hold up my beautiful golden magnifying glass that's triangular for some reason and just like, poke people with it.
Maybe it's like those opera glasses, you walk around with them and you stick them up so you can see the people on the stage or I don't know.
Yeah, it's important for some reason. Anyway, I just want to be more like Leslie Howard. That's all.
Yeah.
I want to have a dual identity. I want everyone to think I'm an idiot, though I'm doing pretty good at that already. But I want underneath be amazing and save people. I haven't quite gotten there yet.
We'll figure it out.
As far as you know.
Misa? No, yes, sir.
Let's jump into our slimy scenes and our ratings. I'll start us out. I think my slimy scene is when his wife realizes that he's the Scarlet Pimpernel. She looks up at the clock, then she slowly drifts and she sees his name, just so everyone knows this painting is her husband. Then it zooms in on the ring, and that shot from up above, as it zooms in on her face, you can see her like realization and all the cogs clicking in her brain, and then she just and I don't know, just that above shot really hit me hard. Yeah, yes. Okay, so for rating for this film, this one's a little tough. So I would say this. I of the characters in this movie a lot. I love the actors and the actresses. I think they gave it 100%. I would say the story isn't extremely captivating to me. That was kind of the hard, not I would say the hard part, but like the less enjoyable part of it. So in the end, I kind of view this movie as it was captivating, but it wasn't extremely entertaining for me. But I saw the skill of the actors and the set pieces and everything. So I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think that's where it's going to land and probably stay there. But when someone comes up to me and asks me about it, I'll be like, no, it's a great movie. I think it's definitely worth your time watching, though.
Yeah, I'll go next. You took the slimiest scene, so I'm going to take the second, which is just the opening scene with, I already talked about it, with the guillotine. I just thought it was cool how they didn't show a thing. In fact, there's no violence in this movie. No one even like draws a weapon, I don't think, or like a sword. There's nothing like that. It almost gets to it, but it doesn't ever do it. I think I feel it basically exactly how you feel. You summed it up pretty well. The first viewing, I was just like, I kind of just didn't feel much. And then on the second viewing, I was starting to see all these little elements that were just, like I said, it's like, it seems so obvious. But then you go back in time, you're like, this was the first time that we saw this. Like, this started it all, which I think is cool. And I think it's great that we're covering it. And it itches that history part of me, too. But yeah, I think I started off where you're at on the rating, a 3.5. After talking about it, it's definitely a 4. But I don't know if I'll ever watch it, but it has intrigued me. I want to watch the 1982 version, and I really want them to do their due diligence and restore this film. If this just like looked crisp and clear, and it wasn't like fluttering with, you know, like the light. At least that's every copy that I've seen. It just looks so, like I said, it looks ancient. It looks old. I think if you brought that, like, and made it just look like the piece of art that it is, I think it would be a 4.5. At least. There's more to it that just kind of gets muddled in the how muddy it all looks. But yeah, 4 for me. A fun watch. I think the dialogue, the costumes, and Merle Oberon's eyes, and Leslie Howard's acting is the best things about the movie.
Amen.
Man, there's two. I'm gonna drop 2 slimy scenes during the library scene when Chauvelin's sitting there like, are you the guy? You know, it kept showing the clock and it kept cross-cutting to the people partying downstairs, and they were just still dancing at like 1 a.m. They were like living it large, like ballroom dancing around. And I was like, that is the funniest idea compared to like how we party today. Like, we just be like drunk or like what, I don't know. It was just like, there they are still hopping around. Like, they ain't got their families to go to, so they're living high society, you know? So that was pretty funny. The second one,
they have to dance to music that's live. Like, they have to have they can't just turn on their iPod. So if the band just never stops playing, they'll just dance forever.
Come, little children, I'll take the away. No, my real slimy scene though is just before yours, Harrison, when Blakeney and his wife are sitting there arguing. And he's like, I want to tell you so hard. I want to tell you so bad who I am, because they have their like spat and it's really passionate and stuff. And she's just like opening up and like confessing all this stuff. And he's like, I might be able to save your brother. But they have this like close up where he like leans in like he's going to kiss her and then doesn't. And I was like, oh, my little just like fluttered. It was so good.
One of those kiss her, you fool.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Kiss her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought you were going to bring this up, Scott, so I didn't say it, but I want to say this. My kind of like backup slimy scene I had was the note he leaves for him. In the library, it's like, hey, you look so comfortable, I didn't want to bother you. Have a good night, Scarlet Pimpernel. And I was like, dude, that is the most savage little note in the world. It's so good.
That is funny.
It's so savage.
My rating, it's also a solid 4. I think, like every war movie, I hate it. This is a war movie too, apparently. And we're gonna watch another war movie for the next episode. And
That's true.
What is my life about these days? But they really bother me, and this one really bothers me too. It's a historical period that, like all wars, is really messy. There's never a right or wrong in why the wars start, but there is a right or a wrong in how moral you are in that war, and no war is ever moral. And this is another one of those time periods, and it really bothers me, and it's stuck with me a long time because I just don't want innocent people to be punished for bad people's actions. Basically, it really, really messes with me.
I get it.
Just to be positive, Scott, from what the little I know about Red Dawn, which is what we're watching for next week's episode, that is an alternate reality war.
There you go.
It's World War III in the 80s.
Have you guys seen this?
I grew up watching Red Dawn. This is
okay.
I probably watched this movie 10 times growing up.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, we can't have so many movies that where I'm the only one who's seen it, because that's really strange for me.
No, from what I read, it's like if we would have lost the Cold War, that's what this Red Dawn is about, maybe.
You'll see. It's
definitely a thing.
Cool.
Ren,
I'm excited
actually,
for it.
I think you're gonna really like it on a lot of different layers. To be honest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the cover's cool, so
that's a
it's usually a good place to start.
Also has Patrick Swayze.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I'm looking at the cast. It looks pretty sick.
Guys, I'm telling you, I have a huge crush on Patrick Swayze. I don't know if it's just because that's his last name.
Wait,
but oh my gosh.
What human alive does not? Fight me.
Dude,
prove me wrong.
I've had dreams of being the clay pot that they're morphing in Ghost. Like, I wish I was that clay. Anyways.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
You just made my heart flutter again today. Thank you, Harrison.
Kiss her, you fool!
Wait, why have we not watched Ghost yet? Why has that not been on any list? I have to watch this movie with you.
Wait, hold on. Does he get murdered before the World Series of Baseball? Maybe we can throw that into that category.
into that connected universe.
I hope so. I'm gonna Google that later.
We need to go through every episode and pull out every proposed extended universe that I've talked about, because I need to group my Plex library into extended universes.
Actually, I was thinking of a new theme we could try out, and I was like, "Ooh, it'd be really cool to do unofficial sequels." Because I know there's a lot of those out there where it's like, okay, these movies, or just it's like, look, these movies aren't 1 and 2, but they pretty much are. Like, you can see it. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely, I'd love that. Especially since most sequels are really dark compared to their original one, their quote-unquote sequels. And so that's what makes the sequel status fun, is in your head it can be the sequel, but it's a really dark version. Yeah.
I have something to admit to you guys. Ooh. Other than Donnie Darko, which I didn't know Patrick Swayze was in, I've never seen a Patrick Swayze movie.
Whoa.
Ren,
so
you have to watch Ghost. You have to watch Red Dawn. You have to watch Donnie Darko. Okay,
I'm putting it out there. Deep dive Patrick Swayze. It's happening.
We might just have to executive order this into reality.
Okay.
Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
So Dirty Dancing stars Patrick Swayze and also Jennifer Grey. So this is a reunion for them, which I've never seen. So I'm excited to. Yeah, I'm going into Swayze land. Let's do this.
Do it, man. It's a great place to hang out.
Awesome.
All right, boys.
Swayze.
I got a beautiful dinner waiting for me downstairs, and I'm really dang hungry.
I'm starving.
So, hungry.
Right. Beauty. Well, join us next week. Adios.
Thanks for watching this girly movie with me, guys. It was fun.
That's a wrap on another episode of Cinema Slime. Be sure to watch the next film before next Wednesday. We had a blast and hope you enjoyed it. This episode was a production by your hosts, Harrison Jensen, Ren Jensen, and Scott Shepard. This is a group effort, and seriously, thank you. Thank you for listening and watching us however you found us. We really appreciate it. Help us grow by leaving a comment, a 5-star review, subscribe, and share an episode with another cinema lover. Also, let's connect. Find us on Discord and Letterboxd for film discussions, reviews, and recommendations. Also, check us out on social media. We're always posting clips, film rabbit holes we're going down, and interesting stuff. And you can also show your support by using Buy Me a Coffee, and we'll give you a shout out if you'd like. All links can be found in the episode notes. Goodbye.